If you're between the ages of 40 and 60, there's a big chance that you're trying to fix your perimenopause and menopause symptoms individually. But what you don't realize is that's exactly why everything feels so confusing. And look, I can honestly say that over 90% of the women who come to me want to focus on one thing, either fatigue, weight gain, anxiety, hot flashes, or they're trying to figure out how to fix that one issue through a random Google search by following some menopause influencer's advice and other trial and error tactics. And when I share that menopause symptoms don't show up one at a time and that they show up in categories, it always comes as a big shock. But until you understand that, it's going to keep feeling like nothing makes sense. Because what looks like separate problems often are not. And this is exactly one of the reasons I wrote the book on decoding the 80 symptoms of menopause, so that you can stop chasing individual symptoms and start seeing how things connect. Because once you see the connections, the confusion starts to settle. And in this episode, I'm going to share the 3 types of menopause symptoms that most women are never taught to recognize. And once you understand them, your symptoms stop feeling random and you start seeing how everything you've been dealing with is actually connected. I'm Tafiq Akhir, Mr. Menopause here, your go-to source for reliable menopause and healthy aging support. Welcome to the Menopause Made Simple show. There are 3 types of menopause symptoms: physical symptoms, cognitive symptoms, and emotional symptoms. And let's start with what most people expect, right? And those are the physical symptoms, the ones that are talked about the most, like hot flashes, joint pain, heart palpitations, and even changes in your skin, hair, and weight. These are the symptoms that typically get labeled as menopause. But here's where things start to break down, because menopause doesn't stop at the physical level. And that leads to the second category, which are the cognitive symptoms. And this is where women often say that something feels off, but you can't explain it, right? You lose your train of thought mid-sentence. And the scary part, though, is that you start wondering if something is actually wrong with you. You feel mentally overwhelmed by simple tasks. You walk into a room and forget why you're even there, and you may have trouble organizing your thoughts or even struggle to focus on things that used to feel easy. And this is where self-doubt starts to creep in, because no one told you that this could even be part of menopause. So instead of understanding it, you start questioning yourself. And then the third category are the emotional symptoms. And this is where it can feel the most personal, right? You feel more anxious than usual, more overwhelmed than usual, more sensitive than usual. And for some women, the actual opposite happens. You feel flat, unmotivated, and disconnected from yourself. And because this affects how you feel, it's often interpreted as something being wrong with you, your mindset, your resilience, and your ability to cope. But these are not separate problems. They are all connected responses to the same hormonal transition. And I want you to know, if that's where you are right now, that makes complete sense during perimenopause and menopause, because you've been carrying something that nobody gave you a name for. See, menopause is so much more than just a physical experience. It affects how your brain processes information, how your nervous system responds, and how your emotions regulate. And that's why symptoms are so layered. That's why they feel unpredictable. And that's why trying to fix one thing at a time feels so frustrating. And see, here's what's actually happening. You start sleeping poorly, which causes your nervous system to become more sensitive. This makes you feel more anxious, which causes your focus to drop. And then you start doubting yourself. Now it feels like everything is going wrong at once. But none of that is random. It is all connected. And it does not mean that something is broken. It means that your body is in the middle of something significant. And this is one of the most consistent patterns that I've seen across more than 20 years of working with midlife women. And just like them, you aren't dealing with isolated symptoms or even isolated health issues either. You're dealing with a system that is adjusting. But most information, influencers, and coaches treat menopause like a list instead of showing how symptoms interact. But your body doesn't operate in lists. it operates in systems. And when one system changes, others follow, which is why menopause feels so disorienting. Because it's not just one change, it's multiple layers adjusting at the same time. And without context, that feels overwhelming. But with context, it becomes something that you can understand, which will help you start to see the connection. Sleep connects to anxiety. Anxiety connects to focus. Focus connects to confidence, and confidence connects to how you feel day to day. Everything that you've been dealing with is not separate. It's part of a pattern and a transition. And when you recognize the transition and see the pattern, you stop feeling like everything is happening to you, and you start understanding what your body is doing for you. And that is the shift right there. And that's what changes how your entire menopause experience feels. You're not falling apart, you're in a transition. And transitions, even hard ones, have a beginning, a middle, and a way through them. And if today's episode gave you even a little bit of clarity, that's exactly what this work is supposed to do. And if you want to keep going, I put together the first 2 chapters of my book for you completely free. Because I want you to have something that you can actually hold on to, something that helps you see your own symptoms clearly in your own time and at your own pace. The link is in the description.